Hello, I'm Roger Dawson. I'm going to be your auctioneer for the upcoming auction with the Harcourts Vision team. I want to spend just a few moments and cover off how the day might unfold so that there's no surprises for you. You may be watching this because we can't meet in person, but there's a possibility that also we will actually meet in person. So we'll go over this in a little more detail. But just to see how the day may unfold for you and prepare you for what could happen, I'm going to spend just a few moments and tell you that right now. Okay, first and foremost, your reserve price. You're entitled as the owner to set the reserve price where you wish. Most owners will of course listen to what their listing agent has told them, and within Cooey they will set a reserve price reflecting where the market is. You need to be aware of course that from a buyer's point of view, they're not going to tell us exactly what they're prepared to pay. The true competition and spirit of competition in the auction will find the price for you. Sometimes we can reach the reserve price. Sometimes we stop short of the reserve price. No matter what happens, we give you an undertaking that we'll pause and talk to you so that you're very clear on where the bid is and how much money you're likely to achieve from the sale. As a simple example, you might set the reserve at $100,000. We'll look to start the bidding off at a level that will get buyers excited, perhaps $50,000 in this example. The bidding may charge along $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 and then start to slow down. It may pause, which is what happens in most of our auctions. That's a point at which we will come and talk to you. We'll go and talk to the highest bidder, and then with a few moments of negotiation we can bring the price much closer to where you'd be likely to sell. Sometimes we can get to your reserve price, but sometimes we don't. But most owners again have allowed for a little bit of come and go in their price so that on the day a happy transaction for everybody is quite possible. Now you need to be aware of course with true competition we may even exceed your reserve price. That's the ideal aim for things. Doesn't happen as much as what people think it does, but at the end of the day, as I said, my job is to give you something that you can look at and make a decision to say, thank you, I'll move on. Remember this, every sale that occurs at auction is a cash unconditional sale. There are no conditions involved. Sometimes we can be tempted to say, will we or won't we pass it in because it's not quite at a level we wanted to sell at. It's not our ideal, but bear in mind this, if we say no, then the auction is over and the bid is gone. And sometimes post-auction the same buyer can come back and present us with conditions that may not suit, and worse than that, they are not bound by the bid that they placed in the auction room, and they may sometimes come back and offer us less. So always be conscious of that. The agent you're working with will give us good advice on where the market is in relation to where we expected they would be, and on the day you can make the final call as to how you will or won't deal with that offer that's there for you. Alright, just want to cover off one final point for you. Many times while we're hoping for multiple bidders, we don't actually achieve multiple bidders. We often end up dealing, close to 50% of our auctions in fact, with only one bidder. And that might leave you scratching your head and saying, well, how can we deal with one bidder? In fact, there will be two bidders, because in the reserve form you will authorise me, as your auctioneer, to place bids on your behalf. That is effectively you counter-offering to attempt to move the price closer to your reserve price. You're not allowed to have anybody else bid for you, it's solely with me, and I make that very clear. But if I place a vendor bid, I've got to openly declare it in simple plain language. The bid's here, the bid's with me, that's my bid. Now they're perfectly legal, perfectly acceptable, it's covered off in the auction contract, and I touch on it as I go through the précis on each individual property. People are aware that the auctioneer may bid. Now we're not going to be stupid about it. We wouldn't take 10 bids past where the last bidder was. We'll always take the pause beyond one bid that the buyer has placed, and even when we've got a gap sometimes of tens of thousands of dollars, we can in the last few moments negotiate to a very acceptable level for you. So the point being this, one bidder, 5 bidders, no matter what, we can successfully sell your property for you, and we'll be working hard in the very best interests of you to make sure that we get the best result on the day, regardless of how many bidders we've got. If you have further questions on that, we'll discuss it in person or by telephone prior to the auction itself starting. You'll be very clear on how we'll handle that for you. I just want to wrap up now and say thank you for the chance to work for you. I look forward to working hard for you. along with your Vision Real Estate team member, and we'll hopefully deliver you a result that you're very, very satisfied with. Good luck, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.